Hey there, future water hoarders. Today, we're talking about the second most important thing you'll need after the world ends. No, not therapy, though you'll definitely need that too. I'm talking about water containers. Because, let's face it, when the grocery stores are nothing but empty shelves and mysterious stains, you can't exactly swing by the camping section of Ray for a nice hydration bladder. Nope, you're going to be MacGyvering your way to hydration, using whatever junk civilization left behind. So grab your tetanus shots. Actually, scratch that. There probably won't be any. And let's dive into 3 foolproof ways to make water containers from literal garbage. Because in the apocalypse, one person's trash is still trash, but at least it's useful trash. First up, the humble aluminum can. Now, I know what you're thinking. Cans already hold liquid, and you're right. But here's the thing. Most cans you'll find post-apocalypse will either be empty, dented, or filled with something that used to be food, but now looks like a science experiment. Step 1. Tomato sauce, or those giant cans of beans your doomsday prepper neighbor definitely stockpiled. Avoid anything that contained chemicals, paint, or your ex's cooking. Step 2. The great delabeling. Peel off that label. Not because it matters functionally, but because drinking from a can that says chunky beef stew when you're sipping pond water really messes with your head. Trust me on this. Step 3. Smooth those edges. This is crucial. You don't want to survive the apocalypse just to die from a cut lip. Use a file, sandpaper, or, if you're feeling fancy, hammer the edges over a hard surface to curl them inward. Pro tip, if you don't have tools, find a concrete curb and gently work those edges. Your lips will thank you, assuming you still have lips. Step 4. The leak test. Fill it with water and check for holes. If it leaks, you've got 2 options. Find another can or embrace the slow drip hydration system. Some might call it inefficient. I call it rationing with style. Pro tips: multiple small cans beat one large cracked one. Save the pull tabs. They make great fishing hooks or tiny weapons for fighting off mutant insects. If you find a can opener, treasure it like the precious artifact it has become. The harsh reality check. Yes, drinking from metal cans long term might give you a metallic taste. But hey, at least it's not the taste of dehydration. Plus, that metallic flavor pairs surprisingly well with despair. Moving on to everyone's favorite environmental disaster turned lifesaver: plastic bottles. The good news, there will be plenty of these lying around. The bad news, most of them will be sun-bleached, cracked, or partially melted into abstract art pieces. The bottle selection process: you want thick plastic. Think detergent bottles, milk jugs, or those massive protein powder containers from when people cared about their gains instead of their survival. Avoid thin water bottles unless you're desperate, because they'll crack faster than your sanity in week 3 of the apocalypse. Step 1. The deep clean. This is non-negotiable, people. Use sand and water to scrub the inside. If soap is just a beautiful memory, you're trying to remove whatever was in there before, and trust me, you don't want your drinking water tasting like fabric softener or pre-workout supplement. Step 2. Cap solutions. Lost the original cap? Welcome to the club. Here are your options. Wrap plastic wrap or cloth around the opening and secure with rubber bands or wire. Use cork if you can find it. Check abandoned restaurants. Melt plastic from another bottle to create a makeshift seal, carefully. Embrace the open container lifestyle and just drink faster. Step 3. Reinforcement techniques. Wrap the outside with duct tape, cloth, or strips from other plastic items. This isn't just about durability, it's about insulation and protecting your water from UV rays, because irradiated water is so last season. Step 4. Handle upgrades. Cut strips of cloth or rope to create carrying straps. Your back will thank you when you're hauling water across the wasteland. Plus, it makes you look more professional, which matters when you're trying to join a survivor group. Creative bottle hacks. Cut the top third off to make a bowl that doubles as a container. Poke holes in the cap for a makeshift shower head. Use clear bottles as magnifying glasses for starting fires. Large bottles can be cut into scoops for gathering rainwater. Now, we're getting primitive, folks. Clay containers. Because sometimes you need to go full caveman to survive postmodern times. Don't worry, you don't need a pottery wheel or a kiln. You just need dirt, water, and the crushing realization that you're essentially playing in mud to stay alive. Finding your clay. Look near riverbanks, construction sites, or anywhere the ground feels sticky when wet. Real clay will hold together when you squeeze it and won't crumble immediately. If you're unsure, try the mud pie test. If it holds its shape like your childhood mud pies, you're golden. The basic bowl method: 1. Mix it right. Clay consistency should be like thick peanut butter. Too dry and it cracks. Too wet and it's just mud. 2. Coil technique. Roll clay into long snakes, then spiral them up to build walls. This is easier than trying to shape a solid lump and requires zero artistic talent. 3. Smooth it out. Use water and your hands to blend the coils together. Think of it as meditation. If meditation involved potentially life-saving pottery, air drying versus fire hardening. Air drying takes 2 to 3 days but works. Your container will be fragile but functional. Fire hardening. If you can build a fire, surround your container with coals for several hours. It'll be stronger, but also more likely to crack if you mess up the process. The reality check. Clay containers will break. Accept this now. Make multiple smaller ones rather than one large masterpiece, because when, not if, you drop your precious water vessel, you'll still have backups. Pro tips: add grass, hair, or small fibres to your clay mix for extra strength. Make the bottom thicker than the walls. It takes the most stress. Test with a small amount of water first before committing your entire water supply. Before we wrap up today's episode of how to turn garbage into life support, let's talk about some universal water container wisdom. The sacred rules of apocalypse. Hydration, -1. Always have backups. If you only have one container, you essentially have 0 containers. 2. Mark your water levels. Use a knife to scratch lines on containers so you know how much you're reusing. 3. Camouflage is key. Bright, shiny containers attract unwanted attention from both humans and whatever else is wandering around. 4. Floating tests. Make sure your containers can float if you need to cross water. Drowning because your water container dragged you down is peak irony. Look, none of these solutions are perfect. Your cans might rust, your plastic might crack, and your clay pottery might look like it was made by a particularly untalented kindergartner. But here's the thing: imperfect water storage is infinitely better than perfect dehydration. Remember, in the apocalypse, the best water container is the one you actually have. Don't spend 3 days crafting the perfect clay vessel while you're dying of thirst. Sometimes good enough is literally good enough to keep you alive. And hey, if all else fails, just cup your hands and drink really, really fast. It's not sustainable, but it's definitely apocalypse appropriate. Remember, stay hydrated, stay paranoid, and remember, if you're not slightly uncomfortable, you're probably doing something wrong. Subscribe for more survival tips.